I'm trying to learn how to sew in 2026, and I'm taking you on the journey as somebody who has zero experience sewing. I signed up for a sewing class at my local community college, and it starts literally in like an hour. I popped my beta blocker already, and I'm mentally preparing. It was a really great deal in my opinion. I paid $110 for 5 2-hour classes, and I feel like I'm really gonna be able to learn a lot more in the setting of a class rather than trying to learn on YouTube and giving up in 2 seconds. I will say I'm definitely nervous because I have attempted to learn how to sew years ago, but it's so intimidating to me. It's just one of those things that I feel like I'm building up in my head to be harder than it actually is. So that's why I'm just ripping off the band-aid and taking a class. And I've wanted to sew for such a long time, especially as a fashion girly. It's gonna be so great to be able to alter my clothes that I thrift, sew my own clothes potentially. I'm just really excited about the prospect of that. But first we're gonna have to learn how to sew. So I'm taking you on this journey with me because I'm sure this will be entertaining. Like I said, the class starts in an hour. I'm gonna try to take some clips in there. Hopefully the teacher lets me. I did research her before, and she has like a social media where she posts about sewing. So fingers crossed, I feel like it'll be fine. My great grandma used to sew my Halloween costumes growing up. She would sew my dad's wardrobe when he was a kid. She was incredible. And I feel like in a little way, this is a homage to her. And I hope that I can be a fraction of the sewist? That ain't right. Okay, sewist is right. I hope that I can be a fraction of the sewist that she was. There's a list of supplies that we need by the second class, and I'll be honest, I also have not gotten any, but it's fine because today's class is the first class and it says you don't need them yet. I feel kind of guilty. I feel like everybody's gonna show up with like a bag of shit and I'm gonna be there like, hey. But it's fine. So anyways, I'm gonna go to a local secondhand craft store later, and I'm bringing you with me to try to source some of these, and then if not, I'll probably go to a regular craft store like Michael's or some shit to get the rest of the things. But yeah, time for class. Let's put in a quick prayer that I'm not gonna be confused as fuck and understand nothing and have to ask the teacher a bunch of questions and look like a dumbass. Amen. All right, let's do this thing. Okay, so I just finished my first class, and honestly, it went better than expected, which is a win. The teacher was great. She let me film, shout out, and we basically just started getting into the basics of the sewing machine, which again, sewing machines intimidate me so much. So I was nervous, but it was all making sense, and we even used it a little bit. She gave us these worksheets, and we essentially sewed on these lines to try to make straight lines. You can kind of see like in the back easier. It's hard to tell, and I didn't do an incredible job, but I still used the sewing machine successfully. And then we did another exercise that was trying to sew in this pattern, but I had to stop halfway because class was ending. But just the fact that I was able to operate the sewing machine, sew on this paper, and sew an actual straight line or somewhat of a straight line, I'm like, okay, wow, maybe I can do this. Maybe it isn't as hard as I thought it was. So that's a great feeling. Thank God for that. I'm honestly really optimistic. I'm really excited. The main project that we're gonna work on throughout the 5 classes is making 2 pillowcases. So can't wait to see how those come out. The class was also pretty small. It had maybe like 13 people, so it's nice and intimate, which is great. And it feels like an ideal situation to learn how to sew. Now I have to get all the materials and tools needed, which is gonna be a little stressful, but it has to be done. So taking you guys along with me to the craft store. Okay, so it's been a few days. I did go to Remainders, the secondhand craft store the other day, but unfortunately they didn't have a lot of the things that I needed. But I was able to get the fabric for the pillows that I'm gonna be making. And this is the fabric that I chose. It's like this paisley. This is it. I think it's super cute. And I did get another fabric because it's so gorgeous that I just like couldn't resist myself. Also such a great price. It was like $5 per yard for both. And this is like really great material. It said it was made in England. I'm pretty sure this is like a known fabric brand. But yeah, originally I wanted to get this for the pillows, but I was like, this is gonna be my first sewing project ever. I don't want to fuck up this nice fabric. I'm fine with fucking up this fabric though. So saving this for like a later project. I got 2 yards, but it's so beautiful. I love it. And since I wasn't able to get everything at Remainders, I did end up ordering from this website. I don't even know how the fuck to pronounce it. Wawak? I think Wawak makes the most sense, but my sewing teacher recommended this place and apparently it's even cheaper than Amazon and places like that. So basically this is supposed to be the best price available for some of these things. So let's do a little haul. First off, we have these pillow inserts for when we make the pillows to make them nice and thick so that they last and don't get flat. These were kind of expensive, honestly. I think it was like $15 each, maybe the most expensive out of everything. Then we have this ruler, just a 2x18 plastic ruler. Not much to say about this. And then we have this like Ziploc full of shit. Let's see what's in here. I got a classic little tomato sewing pin holder. That's not the right terminology, but whatever, you know what I mean. Pin cushion, there it is. These sewing needles. What else? Tailor's chalk, a magnetic seam guide so that I don't fuck up my stitches and make them all wonky. Very big possibility of that happening. I forgot what this is called, but it's like a... And then I got these 2 thread spools and I love pink and brown, so couldn't resist. But yeah, that's the haul. Not the feather coming out of one of these pillows. Wawak, get your shit together. That's basically everything that I needed for the class. The only thing that I'm missing is, well, I did have these shears already, which I'll be honest, I have been using them for the past year, not for fabric. And it might have gotten like fucked up, but they're $20, so I'm at least gonna try using these because all of this was like $50 to $60. Girl. Anyway, I also have an exciting update. I did in fact buy a sewing machine, which I'll be honest, I was not expecting to do that, and maybe it was a little bit impulsive, but after the first class I was just feeling so excited, and I feel like it'll really, I don't know, be helpful to have, obviously, so I don't have to constantly be going to the library to use the sewing machine, which we love the library, such a great resource, but I don't know, I think I'd rather have my own. Plus I am making a YouTube series about this, so it is a write-off. It was definitely expensive. It was like $300, which I'm like, ooh, but it's light pink and she's so cute. It's the Singer heavy duty one. And it also has a pretty long warranty, which I think is important for me, just because there are some mixed reviews about Singer and newer sewing machines in general, which I totally understand because companies like to make things cheaper and less resistant so that they break and we are forced to buy new ones, which is why I definitely tried to really think about the purchase and make sure that it's something that I see myself genuinely using often, but I do think that I will. And another update, I signed up for Sewing 2, which is like the next level class, because the teacher was saying that they get filled up pretty quickly. So me being me, I did sign up for Sewing 2, which starts in like maybe April, maybe March, in a little bit from now. First, we gotta get through Sewing 1. But yeah, those are my updates. My sewing machine comes today. I'm a little bit nervous. I hope it's not like insane to set up. But yeah, honestly, I'm super excited for this journey. I'm glad that I'm actually documenting it, because when I first started learning how to play the piano, almost 2 years ago as an adult with no musical experience. I really wish that I would have done a better job at documenting the process. So excited to be doing this, excited to be sharing this journey with you guys, and wish me luck, I guess. This is gonna be fun, this is gonna be scary, and this is gonna be hard. Like, let me just be honest with myself now. But I know for a fact that it's gonna be rewarding once I make that first pillow and I see that I'm actually able to sew something with my own hands. That I actually have it in me. Well, thank you guys for watching my first video of this series. It's been a while since I've posted on YouTube, so really happy to be back. My second video is gonna be about my second class, my new sewing machine, setting that up, and probably starting the pillows potentially. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!